back, gamers, to Game 3 of the 2GZ vs AngryBirdz semi-final of the CGO, kicking off the first game that we're witnessing, or shoutcasting I should say. I've already got Slub, who's well endowed within the information of the other games. Can you give us a bit of an update, Slub?
Well, in the first game there, we had iPlay versus CyberGamer COD-Vets. iPlay was successful, so they'll move on to the next round, and they'll be versing the winner out of Want Some Mana and OGC, which tonight was OGC. So next round we'll see iPlay versus OGC, and the winner of this game, 2GZ versus AngryBirdz. We'll be versing the winner out of Quad Play and Lumberjack Pros, and the winner of that game was Quad Play. So the winner of this game will be versing Quad Play in the next round, Spotty.
Yeah, interesting aspect. I think, like as we we're pointing out towards the first game, these were the two teams to really keep an eye out for. It was just a shame that they've met so early in the elimination stages, and they're going to knock each other out or so forth. One of them is going to be knocked out and go on, and I think either of these teams could actually go on and win the whole thing. Of course, I think iPlay will be the other team to keep an eye out for. OGC, I haven't heard that much about them previously, but you know, they're a bit of a dark horse at the moment. What's your call at the moment, Slob? If you're going to pick a team, knowing the other games and results, what's your pick to take the CGO out at this this stage?
I don't know. I think it's too close to call, Spotty. I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch this time, because I did that in the first game, and look where it got me. No, it could go either way, I think, Spotty. But I mean, I think what tipped it over last time was the Ophelia pickup on Touch Death, who was just way too dominant. Plus, you had an extremely farmed Zephyr, who was played by Miller really well, in fact, but. I mean, it still could go either way. I'm sure that Touch Death can play more than just the Ophelia. I'm sure he's not a repeat of Carnivalis, who could only play Devera. No, sorry, Carnivalis, had to say that one, mate. But anyway, as for the other bands, nothing too out of the ordinary there. I'm just looking through. Tree, yeah, Vindicator was an interesting band. I don't think we've seen Vindicator in any of the games so far. I don't know whether or not he was banned in all three games. Spot, can you make a comment on that?
Nah, he hasn't been banned. I would have thought that he's just been banned because HDL were looking to pick up the Magnus, seeing as though they were the ones who picked up the Vindicator.
Well, maybe they'd be looking to pick up something like a Pebbles or something that's hard countered by Vindicator. I mean, Vindicator is an extremely annoying hero, no matter what team you come up against him as. Yeah, I mean, maybe they're going to be picking up a hero that is perhaps counted more so than any other by Vindicator.
Yeah,
who actually banned him? The HTL guy. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. Out comes the Zephyr again, the Aurelie Zephyr.
You got to be I don't know, if you're going to be playing your cards twice, this is a knockout game. Whoever wins, I don't know. If you're going to be playing the Zephyr again, I think the guys on the opposite team that went down are going to be a bit more prepared this time, but not underestimate the power of a Zephyr. Of course, Miller playing on Zephyr last game is going to be playing him in this game. He's already readied up, so he's raring to go. And that's, I don't know, when you play your card twice in a row, it's too predictable to the point where they're going to have a better idea of what to do. Okay, that's different. We see a Nighthound pick up the carry for the Legion side. Comment, Slob.
Yeah, definitely an interesting pickup. An interesting development on the Legion side is they actually have 3 potential tri-lane heroes there as well. Maybe they're going to be soloing that Nighthound. Maybe a solo side lane or something with the Nighthound, and have Witchslayer Magnus Myrmidon is a really aggressive tri-lane. I think that's what they're going to be running. They probably run that lane top and have Nighthound solo bottom. So it'll be, I'm guessing, something like Zephyr, Demented Shaman, and some other support hero in the tri-lane top, and then either Hellbringer or CD soloing that bottom lane. I'd say probably Hellbringer more than anybody else.
It's a very deadly tri-lane, which Slayer, Myrmidon, and Magnus all stuns, but the problem with that is that there's no real burst damage, so if they're going to try and jump on someone and chain stun them, one of those guys might get picked out first before one of the Hellborn guys goes down, just because I think the Hellborn guys have more burst damage in that aspect. I mean, especially if they pick up the Corrupted Disciple, will be putting out his tide as much as he possibly can, getting everyone in range, and yeah, I just... bit confusing with the picks. I don't know if they're going to try and build up that Magnus if they decide to tri-lane like that, maybe get him in an early port key. Time's going down, we see Rhapsody. Final pick up for the Hellborn side. I personally like Rhapsody. He's a very strong defensive and offensive hero. A lot of people just think he's offensive because he puts down his Disco Inferno on towers, creeps just knock it away as they do. But I think he can also be a very defensive hero in that aspect. Just sitting back and waiting for things to happen. And I think that's how they'll be playing him, as more of a defensive role, while Zephyr gets farmed up, as we saw in that last game. Going to be interesting laning phase. I don't know what to pick at the moment. It's very... We already seen a Corrupted Disciple lane, so there's a good guess that he might lane again, and probability, I should say. Rhapsody will probably be playing the support in the tri-lane as well as Demented Shaman, and we'll have the Hellbringer finally playing in his rightful spot in a solo, and maybe Zephyr solo as well. They might even be doing a 2-1-1 and having Zephyr just jungle, whereas... I don't know, it's going to be tough to call. I just want to see how these guys roll out, then make up the big calls, but... at the moment, Slub, just based on the picks, who's your favourite?
Well, I mean, if Miller gets anywhere near the farm that he got last game, I'm going to tip the Hellborn side to win, because the Zephyr, as you saw, no matter what the Hellborn team was trying to do, they just couldn't handle the farm that Zephyr received throughout the game, and he just got far too tanked. So, I mean, I don't know. It really comes down to who wins the tri-lane, to be honest. If Zephyr doesn't get much farm in that tri-lane, I'm going to tip the Legion side to win. But if Zephyr gets anywhere near the farm he did last game, then I reckon the Hellborn are going to run away with it.
Well, I'm just having a look at mid. Corrupted Disciple is going to be facing up against Soulstealer. I would have guessed that, but I would have not guessed that at the same time. As I said, he was laning in that last game that we saw him. If I was playing Corrupted Disciple, I'd get his Conduit. The whole idea against going up against a Soul Stealer is to keep his souls minimal. Last hit ability, Conduit does that perfectly, keeping him out of the lane, and if he does decide to stay in the lane, he's got no damage to really do much. We might see an early gank here by the Witchslayer and Magnus, who have decided to sit just in their own Ancients. They're not positioned appropriately on the other side, but I guess they don't want to get caught out in case... the roaming junglers, as the Hellborn have decided to do, with Zephyr coming down, Rhapsody and Demented Shaman. I don't know how they're going to land that either. Maybe they might send 2 mid, as we saw a couple of weeks back City Hunter Cyber Cafe do. But now they've decided to send the Rhapsody. Rhapsody should be able to see Magnus when he comes around, and mid should be aware of that's going to happen. So, Listerin, you should not get picked off. I'm going to call it. If you do, shame on you, because you should be aware of that situation. At bottom, we've got Myrmidon and Nighthound, so we might see 2-1-2. Bit of a classical kind of a pub-style haunting. It might be beneficial for those guys to do that. The only thing I'd be worried about is that Zephyr just getting a free farm at top, which looks the way things should be going at the moment. Magnus is going to be walking around. Rhapsody catches him off guard. They're just going to be sitting there, whacking away that Magnus. He's just going to back. He's got nothing really to do. Even if he was to go on that Rhapsody, there's no backup. There's no burst damage. I mean, the Soulstealer would have got off his souls as his first level, which he has. Conduit comes out. No, actually, Corrupted Disciple decides to get his tide, so I don't know. I would have preferred to got my Conduit first. Keep Soulstealer as a minimal. Magnus is going to be coming back to that mid. He's just taken a couple of hits against Rhapsody. Puts out his stun. He's going to chain a little bit here, and he's in a bit of trouble. But, you know, he's in no real danger. It's just a waste of resources, really. He's going to have to use up his Twinkies, or food as I like to call them. Maybe pull out a pot. Meanwhile, Witchslayer is going to be taken up top against Zephyr, who is down to half HP. Demented Shaman, no problem. He heals him up and says, come again if you please. And at bottom, looks like Nighthound's just going to farm.
Spotty, I'm not sure who you favour in this situation, but I mean, say the game actually pans out the way that it is at the moment, and both Nighthound and Zephyr essentially get free farm. Who do you favour in that matchup, Nighthound versus Zephyr?
You know, I'm going to call it. I'm going to say I would prefer to be the Nighthound during the mid game, about the 20 to 40 minute mark, but I would prefer to be the Zephyr in the later stages of the game. Once it gets a bit more fatter tank. DPS wise, Nighthound should have the favour, depending upon how he builds, of course. But yeah, I think it really comes down to the timing issue that they'll be able to face, provided, as you said, the games go as they are now. Hellbringer won't be able to level up at all if Myrmidon keeps that and just keeps pushing him out of lane, which he's deciding to do. Magnus might even get caught out here. Tide should come out from Disciple, who does get him on the cups. No. Sorcerer is already level 4. So it's a 2-2-1 versus a 1-2-2. So they're playing inverse proportional to one another.
Very, very insightful of you there, Spotty. Looks like we have Rhapsody and Witchslayer run into each other, just going to give each other a bit of a love tap and run away, by the looks.
No idea, but Rhapsody's decided to buy a shield, which is only beneficial for 10 damage when you range, and I don't think on a support that's even beneficial anyway, especially on a Intel hero. You're going to be building Iron Buckler. Yeah, Big Stun Out comes out, Graveyard I should say, comes out on Rhapsody. Rhapsody's just going to back away here. No, he's decided to go back in. Soulsteel holding his ground, Conduit does come out, so he's just going to back away. And meanwhile, Zephyr's going to get a complete free farm. Whereas at least the bottom, Hellbringer is going to get a couple of levels and be contested a little bit. Pools are coming out, so Hellbringer won't be able to level up as much as he would like to.
Well, what's interesting, Spotty, is that the Legion side have pretty much completely abandoned the top lane for some reason, so they're happy to just let Zephyr farm them. Essentially, they're leaving Magnus and Witchslayer to gank mid, I'm assuming, and letting Zephyr pretty much get your free farm at top. But having said that, you've still got the Nighthound who's getting the same amount, if not more, than Zephyr in terms of free farm. But I mean, we'll see how it goes. I think if Nighthound gets the same amount of farm as Zephyr up into the mid game, I think you'll be right, Spotty. I think the Nighthound's probably going to be a little bit too strong, so that's where we're going to really see him shine.
Yeah, it depends how aggressive he wishes to play. I'm just going to have a look at the creep scores at the moment. At top, you know, we've got the Nighthound 24 for 18, and his opponent, who's at bottom, is Zephyr 21 for 10. Sorry, I got that around the wrong way. Zephyr's at top at 21 for 10, and at bottom we've got the Nighthound, who's being a bit more active, 25 to 18, so he's got a couple of more kills here, last hits in favour of him. So, yeah, he's going to be able to soar away from this game in a couple of minutes. They are going to go straight on to Hellbringer. Big Field comes out from Terry. He's going to go down for sure. Level 6 is finally hit. Wow, that was a good play. You know, Nighthound deciding to pounce. Coordinated really well there with the Myrmidon, who pulled out the field. Just caught him.
Catch your sword spot. Magnus goes down in the top lane, gets caught out, way out of position. I'm not sure what he was doing there, but he was actually all the way up into the Hellborn jungle when he got caught out there. I think he was actually, you see where Demented Shaman is, he was down below in that little area below the trees there. I think he was attempting a juke, but I'm not sure that he had enough mana to actually get his Lava Surge off in that situation. So, yeah, really badly caught out of position there for the Magnus. But we see a Gust and an ultimate come out from Zephyr, and an excellent block there from Miller. Is he going to be able to catch him to finish him off? Yes, he will. And that Magnus still only level 1, so very, very good tower dive there. Very good decision from Miller. Very aggressive indeed, and but definitely paid off in the end. So he's feeling very confident on that Zephyr, for sure.
I just had a look through the camps. We've got a triple stack on the hard camp, so I guess the Hellborn guys, AngryBirdz, are really going to try and benefit from a blitzkrieg kind of a game and just downpour everything into Zephyr and let him have every single resource on the map that's available. Might work in their favor. They might be able to keep that Nighthound contained a little better if they're able to do it. It looks like they are. Zephyr's going to struggle to get through this camp though. He's going to... Yeah, you don't want to be doing that so early into the game without those levels of melee. He might go down here. Hey, what's going on, champ? He's just going to be roaming around, not being that productive in the meantime. Nighthound at bottom. That was struggle streets there, but at bottom, we've got the Nighthound who has hit his level 6, so he's just going to roam around, get up as much as he possibly can. Move it on level 4. That's really good for a support. He's been pulling appropriately. He's been double stacking, so it's been killing off the lanes. We see the Zephyr going back in for the hard camp. He's going to be able to do it much easier that time with the camp being halfway down and Demented Shaman's heals. At the mid lane, looks like Corrupted Disciple is going to get banned from behind, and he does with the Magnus and Witchslayer coming over and the tower diving Soul Stealer. So 2 for 2. So a really aggressive plays by both teams being beneficial. Either team might want to take this as a note and buy a TP or so and be able to help out their teammates from this point on the game onwards to catch those guys out. Now that they've built up their confidence, I think they'll be able to get away with it much more.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure that that Corrupted Disciple would have been able to survive long enough for his team to be able to TP in then, but yeah, definitely a good pickup spot.
It's
we see the we see the black Legion helm picked up on Zephyr there, so 8-minute helm, very good. I'm not sure what. I'm guessing Nighthound's going to be... Well, he's picked up a life tube. The only thing I can really think that he would be going for is Battle Fury, or what's it called in Hon?
Coming from a non-Dota player. Which hero?
Ruined Cleaver, sorry. Yeah, Battle Fury is what it was called. Witchslayer's going to go down in the middle lane here. So, caught out of position, I would have to say. I think he was probably maybe trying to set up a gank.
He was sitting there
but,
waiting.
They knew that he was there, and the Conduit comes out from Corrupted Disciple. He's going to be doing a lot of damage to Soul Stealer. Soul Stealer's going to go down. The stun comes out from Magnus, but he's going to get caught out as well here. The Steam Buff might just save him. I don't think they're going to be able to get enough damage off on him. Corrupted's still chasing here. Out comes the health pot, so I think he's going to be able to get away. But Corrupted could be in a lot of trouble here. Myrmidon going to be hunting him down. The stun is probably going to come out from Witchslayer here. Yep, out comes the Minimize, out comes the stun, out comes the Weed Field as well. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to follow up on it, unfortunately. There's just, as you said, Spot, they're lacking burst damage to be able to smash down heroes once they do stun lock them.
And even when they do stun them, we just saw then Rhapsody put down Disco Inferno, which heals the players that are stunned sitting there for quite some time. But that Witchslayer kill, I wasn't sure how they knew, but I did have a look earlier, and there is a ward, not necessarily up on the ledge, but they would have seen the Witchslayer go up there. He would have been sitting there for about 20 seconds before anyone moved on top of him. Meanwhile, Nighthound just sitting down at bottom. He's farming away. He's on 2k at the moment, so I would imagine he's also going for a helm, survivability. And it'll be good to see when he goes toe-to-toe with Zephyr how that's going to pan out. At the moment, GPM-wise, we've got Zephyr 363, and shortly followed by, closely followed by Nighthound on 346. So they're about neck to neck now. They're just going in and out depending on the kills. And it's been a really, compared to the last two games, I think both teams have decided to, I don't know, play really conservative against one another. I know there's been a really two big tower dives, but they've played completely different games. We used to see the tri-lane, a jungle hero there, but both teams just playing a really a drained out kind of a pub where it's 2-2-1 or 1-2-2 or 2-1-2. However you want to call it, the formation's completely changed. And I don't know if that does necessarily for the better. I mean, letting your opposition's carry in both cases farm is not really going to be helpful for either team. I mean, they've both got their benefits. Nighthound and Zephyr hold their own. So they're playing the risk factor. Letting Zephyr up against the Nighthound and letting a Nighthound up against the Zephyr. They're counting on their own carry to pull through. Now, who do you trust more? Do you trust Miller more or do you trust Sassa more? Sassa was the Pyromancer first game. I'm not sure what he played in the second game, but I remember he was
I can't remember, but yeah, he's definitely a good player, can definitely hold his own. That Pyro play was really good from him. I can't, yeah, as you said, I can't remember what he played last game, but I mean, I don't know, I don't favour either of these these players over each other. I mean, if PSR is anything to go by, I think Miller's about 1800 and this guy's about 1700. Sasa. But yeah, I'm not sure, Spotty. We'll have to see how it pans out. But we're going to see initiation on Hellbringer here from the Nighthound. If he gets another leap off, he's going to be in big trouble. And yes, he does it. He gets the kill. And he's actually picked up a Blessed Orb. So that can only lead me to believe that he's going to be going for a Null Stone.
Yeah. The book gives it away. Life Chip, the Null Stone. It would have been my next guess straight after. That's the Blessed Orb, of course, being the helm, and that just kind of countered that completely. But that play there was nothing but inexperience and frustration from Delta. He probably would have been looking at that bottom lane, see Nighthound getting up a bit of farm and thought, oh, if I stick a bit of distance between me and Nighthound, I might be able to stop him from farming as much pressure, and it didn't work out. Just a bit of action at mid. Soulsteal's going to go down. Lava Surge comes in from Magnus. Wheatfield, big Wheatfield comes out from Myrmidon. Crop Disciple has popped off his ulti. Rhapsody has also laid down his Disco Inferno, and they're just going in and out of mid at the moment. The fight did go, of course, in favor of the Legion side, and I say that because the opposition's carry went down. Even though they went down 2-1 in that fight, I think the opposition's carry was way more important in that case. Magnus can be sold out for anything, and so can a Soulsteal. He just needs to get his souls back up by going through the jungle. Nighthound just sitting in that middle. I think he's really keen to pick someone off if they go across the river just a little bit, but I don't think they're going to be doing it anytime soon. There isn't even any bait for them to take. Myrmidon hiding in the bushes, so there isn't really urgency for them to go out. He could be a bit more productive and sit back in his lane and farm away, which I think he's going to be doing right now, getting up to that farm. Actually putting out at Water Reveal, so that's going to spot out Nighthound if he does decide to go over that river next time, and he might get caught out. Bit of a different game to the first two. I just don't know what to say. The first game was all about initiation. The second game was all about being tank, and now the third game is being all about the carry. So completely different games from the same teams. It's phenomenal. At mid, we see Soulsteal come back. He just wants to get his souls back up. There's pings all over the map on the defense tower, so I think they're pretty keen to push this at the moment. And it looks like they are. They're going to go forward with it. Soulsteal is just going to hold his ground. He'll probably put out his hands as soon as the enemy creeps come in range and knock him down as early as possible. Myrmidon's also in there. Lava Surge, I should say, will come out for Magnus, who holds the position a little far back if his allies are in trouble. So they are going to back away anyway. Nighthound's just going to go back up top and farm. Zephyr is hit level 11. Just got his vestments, and there's a couple of stacks, so he's going to be able to hit a couple of high levels of GPM anytime soon. He's already at 390, so we might be able to see him hit the 500 mark like we did last game. 353 at the moment for the Nighthound. Looks like the Soulsteal.
Oh no! I don't know why he didn't gust or something then. He had his whole team coming up to support him. And Soulsteal, he could be in a lot of trouble. That's the way. He's going to go down here, I think. Oh, out comes an invisibility. That's why it was so... Oh, he's got no help. Oh, big plays. I think that was the Demented Shaman dot that finished him off there. A lot of people forget about that dot because it doesn't actually offer any sort of stun after the actual fact. But out comes the Carpenter and the Weedfield from oh, and the cape has saved Hellbringer. Oh no, big game throws. Excellent play there from Nubify playing the Demented Shaman. But yeah, really well played. So our team fight goes in favour of the AngryBirdz boys.
I think the Malphus was a bit of a waste. This is like last game's ults. You didn't have to be throwing out the ult just to stun one guy there. I think it would have been a bit more appropriate waiting for an opportunity or saving it or letting one of your teammates jump in the fight. I guess they don't have as many stuns as they possibly could like. So they were restricted to actually doing that. At mid, we see Witchley hit up level 7. I haven't actually seen him pop off his ult, so he's going to want to roam very soon and make use of his ulti. Myrmidon's just going to be backing him up. We've got Corrupted Disciple. Is that... Oh, he's finished off his Soul Scream ring again. I don't know why he keeps doing that.
He loves those Soul Scream rings, Spotty. Don't take that away from him.
The recipe. You could have sold out the Minor Totem and then just let it sit there and get something else if you needed space. But I don't know. It's just the one's way.
Yeah, because I mean, the only thing that those Soul Scream rings actually build into is Energizer, and that's only just come in a couple of patches ago. originally those cell screen rings were essentially useless, so you'd buy them and then you'd have to sell them later on in the game anyway.
Well,
So nobody buys the Energizer anyway. Yeah. But I'm just having a look at the Hellborn Ancient Spotty, and there's another triple stack there, and 420 gold per minute already on Zephyr, so he's getting the same amount of farm this game as what he was last game. But this game he's actually got an uncontested jungle, so to speak. He doesn't have to he compete with Ophelia for creeps. So I'd have to say that he's probably going to get somewhere close to, if not the same, farm as last game.
Yeah, no doubt. I wouldn't be surprised if he breaches the 550 mark. Down bottom, just missing out. Delt's being dropped there as Hellbringer. Must have been
Delt's got he got silver bulleted, which they finally brought out that silver bullet, and out comes the dust from Corrupted Disciple. So he's going to be able to chase down the 9, but he decides not to. Soul Stealer doing a shitload of damage. I think he might have popped his ultimate. Yes, he did. So that sort of scared off Miller playing the Zephyr. He's actually picked up his Shaman's Headrest, so it probably the actual Soul Burst probably didn't do as much damage to him as what it would have to the other heroes. But yeah, no heroes actually going down in that fight. I think there was maybe one. I think Witch Slayer went down in that entire thing, plus you had the Hellbringer, so I think it was a 1-for-1 exchange, so nothing too exciting. But Hellborn are going to be able to push that bottom tower and get rid of it. But whether they're going to keep pushing, I don't know. I think they've probably got a lot more pushing power with that Rhapsody on the team this time, Spotty. Right, more so than they had last game.
Yeah, that's all, and I think they should back off here and just steal the jungle and let it rejuvenate a minute later for the Legion guys, so they're not able to farm as much, which I think Miller has tapped into our vent conversation and decided to do so. So, bit sus, mate, but okay. And
we might see him after he's finished those wolves there. We might see him go up and finish off that triple ancient stack. But sorry, a bit of action going down in middle. Nullifire goes down to the Nighthound. I didn't catch that one, Spotty. Who was it? Demented Shaman getting picked off there by Nighthound.
Went in for a port to stop the tower going down, but just got overwhelmed with a massive jump there from Hermit onto the field and Lava Surge from Magnus. So yeah, tit for tat. You got to be careful of that. I noticed a lot of those guys decide to port it on the aggressive side of the tower when they're trying to save it. They should really be jumping back, because I think those guys are really going to want to jump there and take as many kills as they possibly can. There is an illusion Magnus, and they're both aware of that. I thought maybe Zephyr might put out his Gus and got fooled, but he didn't, obviously. And he should really be taking down his triple stack as soon as he possibly can. I think he will. Of course, the Legion are aware of that triple stack being there. Malthus comes out on only Nighthound this time. I don't know what they're doing. It's just better off doing it in the team fight. But it's all happening. Konzua comes out from Corrupted Disciple. He puts off his ulti. Witch Slayer doesn't have enough mana to stun or minimize. He's going to go down surely in that team fight. He's not going to have anywhere to run after this Kobe. Might juke. He does get enough mana to put off his graveyard. It's not enough. Does get covered there at the end of the day. And middle tower is going to be the end result of that little fight. So,
well, Nighthound actually pretty much signed a death warrant, because I don't think he realised that Zephyr actually has an eye now. So he pretty much walked straight uphill and right into the gauntlet, so to speak. So that's why he got picked off so easily in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the only reason why the Legion wanted to jump up there so eagerly is because they just didn't want to see that Zephyr get that triple stack. I mean, you know, he's already had the GPM. At the moment, we see Soul Stealer at 319 and Nighthound's back to 300. So he's taken a turn for the worst. He dropped down a little bit. Meanwhile, Corrupted Disciple being the second player in favor of the GPM, which means that I think HTL, sorry, AngryBirdz. Is it AngryBirdz on that side? Yes, it is. The Hellborn side might be able to take this game back. I have not seen this for a while. We have, not seen a team come back from a, from a 1-0 loss from straight up. Usually they go down two rounds and that's it. But not only are they going to come back, they're going to come back from losing the first round to being completely written off and outvoted in terms of favourites, and take out one of the you know, the tournament's best teams at the moment in terms of ratings and PSR and win rate. So this is going to be a pretty big upset. 6th place is going to X30 if this game keeps rolling the way it does.
I mean, it'll be good to see something like that happen. It'll keep the ladder interesting. I think that the AngryBirdz were one of the teams that were tipped to take the CGO out, and I think that if they do take this game out, then I don't think there's going to be many teams that are going to be able to stop them.
The only thing about it, what I find interesting is every team in the CGO, although they have a lot of wins and so forth, there isn't a single team in that top 8 who hasn't lost a game. Which means every team is vulnerable, just as much as the next. AngryBirdz only lost 1, iPlay's only lost 1, and 2GZ has only lost 1. We just see Zephyr pick up his sort of the high, so he's going to be going for a mock similar to last game. Nothing's really changed except he's bought the bound dive in case of Nighthound, which leaves Nighthound rather useless at the moment. You know, he has picked up his Null Stone, but the whole point is just element of surprise and picking off your team as you do in that 20 to 40 minute mark, which he hasn't been able to do a whole lot of it lately. He is still sitting on 300. He's not being productive right now. He's just sitting at mid, going back and forth. Wants to get into a bit of action. Should either go top or bottom for that farm if he's not going to be doing much. But I don't know. I think Zephyr just got too much farm at the moment. Yeah, it's going to be hard.
He's actually picked up his Sword of the High as well, so he's more than halfway to his mock. Which is spelling some bad news for the Legion side, I think. Very bad news indeed. So he has got a serious amount of farm already, and we've seen a double stack in the Legion side this time, so they're going to steal that as well.
There's just no counter to it. You got Soulsteel running back to base because he needs mana. And all the other supports are just going to sit mid while Nighthound can't even go and investigate because Zephyr's got a bound eye. So they've been completely countered here in terms of productivity. And, you know,
the bad... Sorry, Spotty, keep going.
Oh, you're alright, mate. Come on, champ. Get that ball spot.
Well, I was going to say, the bad thing is Nighthound can't even really get rid of Zephyr and get the eye off him. Because I think Zephyr's far too tanked now. And Nighthound just simply doesn't have the DPS to be able to get rid of him. Nighthound is going to have to. It's going to have to be like a 5-man gank on Zephyr, as much as I hate to say it.
And at the moment, I don't think that's going to be easy to do with the AngryBirdz holding hands, and they're playing really conservative. They're just taking away the jungle. I mean, although you know you're sharing the XP and gold. The fact of the matter is, Legion side isn't getting any XP or gold to even share, so it does. We're going to see a face-to-face here. I'm going to have camera lock on Zephyr to see what's going on. Another big call out there, Malphus gets called out towards Soulsteel. Puts out his soul straight away. Lava Surge comes out for Magnus. He's going to be beneficial. He's going to get out of there. From Disciple decides to back off. He's going to get chased down by Myrmidon, who puts out the field, just misses. Going to get back towards the action. Zephyr just going back and forth. He's going to go straight on top of that the Soulstealer. He gets Lava Surge and goes down. And it looks like the AngryBirdz are on the worst tier of that situation. Luckily to escape with the Corrupted Disciple and the rest of that team going down. Recap of that fight slot.
We just picked up here, Spotty. Magnus has a PK. I'm pretty sure he PK'd and ultied in that situation there, which plus you had the Soulstealer pop the BKB and use his ultimate as well. So there was a lot of burst damage in there and a lot of AOE coming out of the Legion side. So I think that was probably where everything sort of fell down for the Hellborn side there. I don't think they realised that the whole Legion team was just sitting in the jungle there ready for them, and they got initiated on. So much like any game, I think it's going to be a case of whoever initiates is probably going to win the team fight spot.
Yeah, but in saying that, Hellbringer was the one who initiated with Malphus on Soulsteel. I've been saying this since last game. I think Delts will be kicking himself because that's about the 4th or 5th time in the last 2 games I've seen him pull out a Malphus stun before a team fight actually uproars just to get one single kill, and it just didn't work out for him. Hellbringer is one of those heroes who needs to come in mid towards a fight and pull off a big stun. if not initiate.
Yeah, it's sort of like a, not as like a not as like the first thing on just 2 heroes. He really needs to be using it on 3 or 4 or 5 heroes so that he really gets the benefit of the huge AoE that it does offer. And something else interesting too, Spotty, Soulstealer's opted to go for a Shield Breaker as the next item after BKB. Now, we see a lot of guys actually going BKB and then straight on to Portal Key. But this Soulstealer's decided that he doesn't want to go for the Portal Key, he's just going to go straight for the Shield Breaker, which is leveled up to level 3 straight away. But we're seeing a Kongor attempt from the guys on the Hellborn side. I think the Legion side is actually aware of it. Yes, they put the ward out, and Witchlayer decides not to pick up that regeneration. Out comes the stun, so we're going to see a lot of initiation going on here. Zephyr's going to pick up the regeneration. Nighthound's going to initiate here, and he's should be able to pick off the Hellbringer. No, out comes the ultimate from Hellbringer. Hellbringer's going to go down anyway. Miller's taken a lot of damage. I think the ultimate came out from Soulstealer there, plus the Shield Breaker, which is proving to be a fantastic pickup for the Soulstealer, doing a shit ton of damage. Plus he's got the minus armor aura as well. So a triple kill for Nighthound there, carry, and I think a double kill went the way of Soulstealer as well, Spot.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you, but prior to that fight, when you were just saying that Soulstealer decided to pick up the Shield Breaker, as he was leaving his base, he accidentally bumped his, or must have bumped his ultimate button and kicked off his ulti before the fight. I mean, before he was even close to contact in his own base. And as the fight was leading up, it looked like Magnus had put off his ulti as well, being Eruption, and was going to pour it in, but must have slipped his hand as well and wasn't able to actually capitalize from his ulti being kicked off. But even though that happened, they still won the team fight. So
yeah. The sheer amount of AoE damage that these guys are putting out at the moment is proving a little bit too much for the AngryBirdz. So after an extremely dominant first, quarter of this game, the AngryBirdz guys, they're sort of falling apart here. Zephyr's sort of just gone back, retreated back into the jungle, and he's going to do some farming. And having a look at the GPMs, the Soulstealer is actually overtaking them as far as gold per minute's concerned.
Oh, when pigs fly, this game is just all over the place. I don't know, I think that Zephyr will want to get into his barrier idol ASAP. I mean, that AoE, the Silver Bullet, the hands of Soulstealer, and his ulti, the carb field, and everything else combined with Myrmidon, as well as Magnus, that idol would really be beneficial in team fights. And the rest of the team just getting sacked while Zephyr's going back and forth. There's not really much to be able to do about it. I think AngryBirdz had the advantage earlier in the game, but I don't know, 2GZ has proven to be too strong in this later half, even though we're still in that 20 to 40 minute mark. Maybe we might see that Zephyr come back just as strong. At the moment, all that momentum is shifted towards the Legion side, 2GZ or HGL, however you want to know them as, proving to be too strong. It's one of those games we saw in the first two. One team started to win landslide, second game landslide, and now this, it's just back and forth at the moment. We've got a gold deficit to the AngryBirdz, down by 5k, also down by 13k experience. And this is where it's really going to come down to which team comes out in the next couple of team fights. I think the next 3 team fights are going to be the most important, if not already the last one really gave the situational. But it looks like Yellow and the rest of the guys are just getting up their farm by taking down the Ancients. Trying to get that farm out in Nighthound, who has picked up the token. So he's just decided to farm instead of pushing, which, I don't know, when the opposition's team has got token, you don't want to be pushing because you're really against 6 people, but you don't want to be not doing anything. And you got to be prepared to go around the map and take P's just in case they decide to push a tower. But in this case, it looks like they're planning to play it defensively. He might just go and get up his mana and then go back in for another team fight if he decides to call upon that option, which I think would be the beneficial situation of the two if he had the choice. the Hellborn side completely not being productive. Look, they're all just sitting mid. The Legion are just farming in the jungle, farming that mid lane. They're not able to do anything. It looks like Zephyr's still farming, and even Magnus is just getting free comm on top of his Porky. He'll easily be able to get out of the team fight if he has to. He's decided to go with Storm Spirit. Now, I haven't seen that build before on Magnus. Porky, of course, being deficit. Porky's not going to be able to work when you have sort of the high mixed with, of course, the just losing my bearing there for a second. The Mock of Brilliance. Got to be aware of that situation. When you have a Porky, it just doesn't work when you take the dots. Dots, especially from Zephyr's Mock. So, you know, Magnus does go down, and that's an easy kill for Miller to take up. He's going to force back to bottom while that tower's going down. Nightingale's going to get straight on top of Zingo, straight on top of Zephyr. He's going to get taken down easy as Ultimate comes out from Soul Stealer. He spurts out his souls in all different directions. BKB by both teams are channeling ulti by touch death, but there's no one around to actually be beneficial. He's going to go down as well. Token comes out from Nightingale. He's going to have to use it because the tower takes him down. And this game has taken a turn for the worst in the case of the AngryBirdz. I don't think they're going to be able to come back to this, even though it's only 18-3. Able to get a second tier tower, they might be able to get a third tier tower and put a bit of pressure on the racks. They've decided to back. I don't know, Zephyr's down. They could have really pushed a bit more. But they decided just to take the jungle edges. And Slubber's back. Slubber, I was just discussing that. I think Legion have come back and taken this game. There's just nothing I think the AngryBirdz can do at the moment.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I've missed most of that, what went down there. I'm assuming that sorry, not AngryBirdz, HTL pushed up fairly hard there, and a lot of the team fire went in their favour, and managed to get a couple of towers in the process there.
Yeah, they took third.
Or was it just the second tier tower on the bottom?
They took that whole lane's towers were.
Yeah, well, this game's definitely taken a turn for the worst if you're a AngryBirdz supporter.
AngryBirdz supporter. Shout outs to you guys, faithful supporters, but
And much like the casting, it's gotten a little bit boring as far as gameplay is concerned. Everybody's sort of just gone back into their own little corners and they're going to farm it up a bit. I think, like, if you were the captain of the team, Spotty, on the AngryBirdz side, what would you be telling your team in this situation? What would you be telling them to sort of come back and sway the game back in their favour?
You got to play really defensively. Even though come back in. They would need Oldbringer to get off a really fat ulti, and they would hopefully the Legion side would dive deep enough that you know the Hellborn would be playing so far back that to be able to jump on them one at a time and take down that Nighthound and then the Soul Steal, and then don't worry about the support. So they're able to maybe push a tower, a third tier tower. They are on the third tier tower and towards middle. So if they did knock down their team down, I mean, Soul Steal level 20, Nighthound level 17, that's approximately 16-70 seconds each, which is enough time after a team fight to push a tower. I just don't think it's, everything's just, these last couple of team fights, these last 10 minutes have really gone towards the Legion side. I don't think they're going to be able to come back. What would you say, Slub? How would Hellborn come back? If they're going to come back and make me eat my words, how would they do it?
Well, I think Zephyr's probably just going to have to turtle it up. I mean, he's just going to have to go back into the jungle and just farm it up like crazy. That's the only way, the only conceivable way that I can see them coming back from this. Plus, the Corrupted Disciple's going to have to as well.
Struggling for gold at the moment. That's the thing. Zephyr 383, predictive 550 wasn't met. From Disciple 328, then Soul Steal 474. late start of the game, Nighthound's going to dive straight onto Hellbringer and take him down before he can even get his mouth out. Ultimate comes out by the Rapture. He's hiding in the trees, trying to be beneficial for his teammates. He gets taken out by the Soul Seal. Lava Surge comes out, but there's no one to actually hit anyway. Nighthound going to just hit away the health of Zephyr, who backs straight away into the corner, and Corrupted Disciple has to run for that team fight. Picks up the invisibility room, but doesn't mean much. The Legion side are going to take down that second tier tower. Nothing's going to come of it, of course, in terms of being able to stop these guys. 13k gold deficit, 20k in XP. Bit of a push on the tower at mid. Soulstealer banging away as he does. Tide comes out from the Corrupted Disciple. Big lead on towards Zephyr. Zephyr, looking like glass at the moment, gets smashed. And another leap by Nighthound straight onto Corrupted Disciple, who might be able to get away if his marches pushes him enough distance away from the Nighthound. Nighthound keeping towards as far as he possibly can, but might reconsider that's a bit of a waste of a time. He does decide just to take back into the camp. I don't know. You're not going to be able to do anything. Every tower goes towards Hellborn's side, but even so, it doesn't mean much.
Just an interesting pickup on, remember how we were saying that nobody picked up Energizer, the thing that Soulscream Ring builds into? Well, Myrmidon is going to make us eat our words, Spotty. Energizer has been picked up by Myrmidon on the Legion side.
I'd imagine, being in the support role, that he's only doing that to give Nighthound that extra speed boost going in and out or during battles. So that's feasible. You've got to remember that he just activated it, and that's going to cut off his own Striders. So there's no speed bonus when you do that at all by the time you get back the cooling time. So I don't know why he popped that off. Anyway.
It actually gives half of the amount of speed bonus that Striders do at full charges.
Yeah.
The Striders give 150 at 4 charges, and Energizer gives 75 for 5 seconds.
Well, wouldn't be the first.
Are we going to see a Kongor attempt from the Hellborn side? That'd be a little bit silly if they were going to do a Kongor attempt, I think, because at the moment, if they manage to get caught off by that Soul Stealer ultimate, they'll be in big trouble.
What? Plus, Zephyr's on the other side of the map, so they don't really have any grounds to do much. And they decided to take down the combo. DPS, 193. Actually, the biggest DPS factor on that team is the Soul Stealer, believe it or not. 300 DPS, so... And you got to remember that he's got a demonic breastplate as well, so... Yeah, I think the Soul Stealer has really stepped up this game and taken it by the balls. It was a bit of a late start for him. He's been able to come back in the middle of the match. Looks like a bit of a push in this tower. Like I said, the only way I think they're going to be able to counter is if a big holding comes up from Eldritch. But even so, Nighthound does have the token item. Yes, he does. Big field comes out, but not able to hit anyone. BKBs everywhere. Ultimate's also panic button. Malthus does come out. Ultimate by Rapture, protecting everyone at range. He gets down straight away. It's not able to do anything. Silver Bullet comes out as well. Zephyr goes down just as easily, like bread and butter. Nighthound gets taken down, but his token revives him. And he's just going to walk there, and I think he just hit the tower down as he does. Went to Shabba and he's going to come back into the middle of the fight. He gets jumped by a lad, or as Lad Pacific West, and everyone goes down. DPS spot. Nothing to do there. This game is done and dusted. Very low scoring game. 27 kills, 50 kills per side. What is it mark? Very late back into the game.
Definitely not the way I thought it was going to go, especially after the first 15 or 20 minutes worth of AngryBirdz stompage, I'm going to have to call it. Yeah, very interesting that it's gone the way of the HTL boys.
Okay, so we're just going to get free kills now. Anyone that comes up close to him, that Nighthound's going to leave. Fort will come out to the back, he's going to come off guard, and Lava Surge followed up. Second round. We're going to keep it to the one-day tradition. Keep fighting until your second star gets knocked out.
It's a shame to see one of these teams go in the first round, because they would have definitely made it interesting. Yeah, even if they made it, even if they're playing in the finals against each other rather than the semi-finals, it might have been a little bit more interesting. But anyway, them's the breaks.
That's the way the baby cradle walks. I don't even know if that's how you say it, but
Must be an old Scottish saying, that one.
Nah, we're a Jock Tempson's Barnes, is a Scottish saying.
What a what?
We're a Jock Tempson's Barnes.
Uh-huh.
That means we're on the same boat.
Yeah, I'll probably just stick to we're on the same boat, to be honest, Spotty. Sorry, mate.
What type of boat are you talking about, mate? You're not an immigrant, are you?
I'm not an immigrant. I mean, we're all immigrants. We're Australian, aren't we?
Yeah, go, mate. Hey, Benny, what you doing? Well, I don't know what your nationality is.
Who knows, no, man. I'm probably a convict, like all the Americans seem to believe that Australians are. Descendants of convicts. This cast is going downhill, Spotty. We got to pull it back somehow, mate.
Oh.
It's getting a little bit boring with this Soul Stealer really dominating the game.
I was planning on podcasting after this. I think I might delay it till Sunday. I'm not feeling it anymore. What are you doing to me, boys? Pull up the gazebo. Oh, but in the middle animation comes out anyway. Field follows up, chain stuns, silver bullet, not necessary, but for a bit of fun, why not?
I think he might have been a little bit upset after missing that graveyard stun somehow.
Laying down the law. Not should even say, Brother Pat.
CD's actually bought back in that after dying at the top lane there. And he's going to be farming up the bottom.
Bit of trash talk from Sasa. I got more HP than you, Zeph. No, that was just a question. That's a question. More of a statement. 2.6k in health. Oh, what's the soul steal? Here comes the Malphus, catches everyone off guard. This should be the end of the game. Soul Stealer BKB right in the middle, pops off these souls, it goes everywhere, splats up everyone. Lava Surge comes out from Magnus, BKB as well. Everyone's going to go down here. Nighthound barely taking a scratch, he's just going to leap on towards it. Lava Surge, big Lava Surge by Magnus, catching both Hellbringer and Zephyr down. Everyone's going to get caught off the field, and finally the final leap by Nighthound to finish the game off. And I think
out comes a big immortal from Nighthound.
Mortal game, and that's all she wrote. The first semi-final that we've cast happened to be against third place 2GZ versus 6th place AngryBirdz, going to the best of 3, the third and final game, and of course 2GZ taking it back. And it'll be interesting to catch the next game. Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to catch us very